Hello YouTube, Basin Truck here, and today we're going to talk about how to properly mount a tire. Take a seat, and don't forget to watch some of my other awesome videos. Now, I had Mark come over. See, here's Mark.
Don't.
Yep, here's Mark.
Video,
yep,
buddy.
he's part of the video now.
No,
I'm not. Yep, here he is. So he's got a 2011 Cadillac Escalade that I told him not to buy, and it needs tires. So he brought me over a pile of the cheapest 22-inch tires he could possibly find in this size, because that's how he rolls.
They still look good. Look at that. Nice tread.
Yeah, they'll be gone in 300 miles, but it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, so I've been wanting to make this video for a while about how to properly mount and balance a tire. But we're just going to talk about balancing today because mounting is pretty simple. But here's what you don't need when you're getting a tire balanced. See how there's a weight there? If you bring around, we have another weight. There's two weights on this wheel. The same with this one. There's a weight there, and then there's a weight over here. That is not the proper way to balance a tire. You should never have multiple weights on the same side of the tire that aren't touching each other. These have obviously been spaced out. Someone was lazy, didn't know what they were doing. It's a big problem with most of the tire shops today because they hire kids at minimum wage and they let them go and they do whatever the machine tells them because they're not smart enough to understand you're not supposed to do that, and no one told them this. So if you ever go get your tires mounted, balanced, rotated, and you see this problem, you see there's a weight and a weight separated, make them redo it. Don't leave like that. Now, if you have sticky weights on the inside of your wheels, it's the same principle. Now, a lot of times it'll take a bunch of sticky weights, so you'll have a big pile of them in one spot, and that's okay, but there shouldn't be any other weights anywhere else on the wheel. Here's another issue of what's going on here. Look, we've got the outer weight. There's only one on that side, but there's an outer weight. Sorry for the bad lighting. There's a single inner weight, but look, we have sticky weights on the inside of the tire also. There should not be any weights on the inside of this tire. That should not be there. So this one's even is bad or worse than the other ones. This fact that there's weights in 3 spots and they're not even on one side. So now that we've discussed that and covered it, I'm going to get these dismounted. I will mount the new ones and I will show you how to properly balance a tire. Okay, let's see how much weight this bad boy's going to ask for. That's really not that bad. No weight on the inside, and they're asking for 1 1/4 ounce on the outside. So being it's an outside one, I'll put a new weight on there. But typically, I'll put the used dirty weights on the inside and save the good weights, the new weights for the outside. Now, here's what I want to show you guys, the problem before. I'm going to put the wrong weight on here. What is this? 75. Alright, I'm going to put a 75 where it says to put the one, right off of where it says to put 1 1/4 ounces. And I'll show you what and we'll spin it again. Okay, now I know I put the wrong weight and in the wrong spot. But we're going to spin it again and we're going to show you what the machine says. Here's what the mistake they always make for people who don't know how to properly balance a tire. Now it's going to ask me to put more weight on, obviously. I'd be surprised if it didn't. Okay, now look, it's asking for a 1/2 ounce on the inside and a 1/2 ounce on the outside now. Before, it just wanted 1 1/4 on the outside. So let me find, okay, right there is where it wants the weight. As you can see, it wants the weight right here. I put the weight right here. The weight was supposed to go over here. So now it's asking for a 1/2 here, and we'll do it just for demonstration purposes here, because I've got 2 halves right here. So watch, we're going to do this. And we're going to balance this tire back out the complete wrong way. So we got a 1/2.
bring it back down here. Okay, now we're going to spin it around, and it should most likely stay balanced. Okay, see, it says it's balanced. But we already know that's not right. See, I have one weight, which would be okay. And then over here, I've got two weights that are separated, which is not okay. So I'm going to pull these all back off, and we're going to balance it again and do it the proper way. Now, there is a trick. Sometimes, when you properly balance the tire, it will still ask for more weight slightly off to one side, and I'll give you a demonstration for that too. I'm trying not to make this a long video, but, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. So we're gonna respin this. Okay, it's still asking for a half on the inside. That's okay. But it still wants the 1 1/4 on the outside, which is one it wanted originally. But here's where the problem lies. Occasionally, you'll spin it, and it'll ask for something different, like we're seeing now. Before it said it was fine on the outside. Now here's the kicker. I might be able to put the 1 1/4 on the outside, and it might balance. So we're going to try that first, just to see what happens here. We're going to spin it again, and we're going to play with it. Nope, see, look, it balanced out. So this is the problem you run into sometimes. It will ask for two different things when you respin it. Now, we put the 1 1/4 ounce out over here. Now let's say it wanted, you know, another 1/4 ounce over here. Well, a lot of these people will just throw a 1/4 ounce there and it'll balance out. That's not what you want to do. What you can do is, you take the 1 1/4 off and you slide it over, maybe 4 or 5 millimeters. Just slide it over a little bit to the side where it wants the weight and see if you can balance it out. This way you don't have two weights. Now you may get to the point where you've moved it over far enough that it now wants weight on this side. If that's the case, go up one size on your weight. Instead of 1 1/4, put 1 1/2 on here and move it back towards the sides you want the weight on, and it will eventually balance out. Do not put multiple weights around the wheel. That's the moral of this story. Don't do that. It's hack. You don't know what you're doing. This is the proper way to do it.
Okay guys, here's part 2, how to properly balance a tire. As you can see, it wants a bunch of weight pretty much in one spot. As you can see, they should almost right here. You can see the high spot there. So this tire needs way too much weight. You don't want to put 5 ounces of weight on this tire. That's ridiculous. So I'm going to teach you how to properly attempt to get this weight down. Now this can happen if you've got a bent rim, a bad tire, or if you just get unlucky enough to happen to mount the heavy side of the wheel with the heavy side of the rim. So we're going to break this back down, and I'm going to show you what you need to do in a situation like this. Now what you're going to want to do is, you've got your mark on the tire, and you're going to want to spin the tire on the rim. You don't want the rim to move. You want to spin the tire 180 degrees. So I want this to be over here. But the problem with this tire, there's not enough give in it, so I'm going to have to dismount this upper part of the lip and then spin it and remount it back down. Okay, now I need to find my mark. It's over here. So I'm going to spin this around. I want to mount it about right there. Okay. Now we've got that remounted. I'm going to check my mark. It's pretty close. It's not perfect. It's a couple degrees off, but it'll work enough to do what we need to do. So now I've got to reseat the bead. With any luck, this should greatly reduce the weight that we need to balance this tire. So we're going to put this back on the balancer and see where we're at. Okay, it wanted 5 ounces, 3 1/2 on the outside, 1 1/2 on the inside. So we're going to spin it now, and let's hope we see a 5+% improvement would be ideal. Hey, there we go. That is much more acceptable. I am not going to do that again because it's a pain in the butt, which is why people don't do it properly like that, because it takes time. And when you're paying a guy flat rate, he doesn't want to sit there and go through all that trouble that you just watched me do for one tire, because you're not making that much money doing it, which is a whole nother subject, flat rate mechanic work. So I'm happy with this. That's acceptable. So I'm going to put that weight on here, and we will spin this again. You can see it doesn't require the weights right next to each other this time. They are separated out a little bit. Before they were right on top of each other. That's the wrong size. Did I take off? Yeah, there's the one. Okay, I'm going to spin this around and let's hope we get some goose eggs. Okay, I'm happy now. So that's the process you have to do if it asks for a ridiculous amount of weight on one side of the tire or both sides of the tire. In that case, it wanted a lot of weight in one particular spot on both sides. Now, if you've got really big tires like off-road tires or just really large sidewalls, that can happen a lot. It can take a lot of weight to balance out some of those really big tires. So seeing 5 ounces on one side isn't necessarily unheard of on those monster tires. Thanks for watching. Throw a comment down below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.